On today's episode of Press Play, we will see our year in review dealing with the pandemic as well as in sports.
And hear about events coming up on campus as we wrap up the semester. All of this and more only on Press Play.
Hello and welcome to Press Play, Oklahoma City University's news and sports magazine show. I'm Ava Cruchon.
And I'm Kaylee Krimmel. We begin our show with news.
COVID-19 has been hard for many students across the country. Press Play talks to students on campus about their experience with doing school online.
Zoom fatigue is so real, like having to just stare at a computer screen so much more often than like usual is like hard and really draining, and then just like the weight of classes with masks, with social distancing, with everything going on in the world right now is really emotionally taxing just as a student.
It's definitely been challenging to stay motivated, especially like doing Zoom classes in our bedrooms when we don't have like a good space to do our best. But I've definitely learned a lot about myself and still had a good year making friends, and it's not been that bad overall.
Yeah, so having classes online have been a bit difficult. Just because I'm not able to, I feel like, have on like necessarily that one-on-one connection with my professor or meet my classmates as much.
The biggest struggle I'd have to say is not being entirely in person. I think the one-on-one, being able to speak with your professor face-to-face helps a lot, and it helps with, learning the whole criteria for the class.
So my year has been pretty good. I mean, it's also been up and down. It was definitely hard to adjust at first to all the changes with COVID, but it makes the days that we're in the studio so much more exciting, and it makes you really appreciate.
The 2021 honorees are in for our Campus Leadership Awards. These students and organizations are recognized for their outstanding efforts for this school year. Outstanding First Year, Ashley Wynn and Nicholas Sae. Advisor of the Year, Reverend Elizabeth Horton Ware with Better Together. Outstanding Sophomore, Estella Seagraves and Brittany Wyatt. Outstanding Junior, Reed Powell and Andy Shepard McDermott. Outstanding Senior, Taylor Downey and Bobby Trey Trousdale. Athlete of the Year is Caleb Evans with baseball. Outstanding Organization Commitment to Philanthropy is Miracle Marathon. Athletic Team of the Year is Palm and Dance. Outstanding Greek Chapter of the Year is Gamma Phi Beta, and Student Organization of the Year is Students Activities Council. Congratulations to these students and organizations.
The 14th annual CETL Awards were held this month, honoring instructors for their performance throughout the year. Our very own Mass Communications Department Chair, Beth Adele, was recognized for innovation in learning and teaching. Courtney DeBilio and David Pfaff won for excellence in teaching, and Jennifer Zell was awarded the newly renamed John C. Starkey Mentoring in Undergraduate Research. The awards went virtual and includes the 2020 and 2021 winners after having canceled the ceremony last year due to the COVID-19 outbreak. The ceremony consisted of student videos sharing personal stories of the winners.
Miracle Marathon is a dance marathon that raises money for the Children's Miracle Network and the Children's Hospital right here in Oklahoma City. OCU's big event was April 17th. Around $40,000 was raised for the Children's Hospital. This money will help the children and their families during these hard times. Students are taking initiative on campus in a unique way. Press Play's Lily Tucker caught up with these students on Earth Day.
Replenishing the planet. That's what students are taking time out of their day, Earth Day, to do.
Taking the stuff that used to be in this little garden and we're turning it into kind of a community garden thing for anybody on campus. People can grow whatever they want and take whatever they want as soon as it gets running.
We'll have fresh strawberries. Yeah.
This community garden will host many different plants, all of which are available for students to take.
We have some cilantro, basil, there's all different kinds of smaller plants that we're putting in there.
Students aren't just giving back to the earth, but to the school as well.
I think a lot of people have questions about how green our campus is, so I definitely think this is going to fix that for sure.
It's really great that we're finally taking initiative to make this garden something that everyone can use and making it a little beautiful space in front of the caf for everyone to use.
After a stressful year, students are hoping that redoing the herb garden will boost morale.
I think it'll bring people together by planning together and getting fresh stuff from the garden.
Reporting for Press Play, I'm Lily Tucker.
With the school year ending, STARS points that are used in Alvin's Market can either be spent or wasted. Press Play's PJ Grooms is here to show you what to buy with your remaining STARS points.
Alvin's Market provides essentials for all students at OCU. Snacks, coffee, cleaning materials, and even hair supplies provided. With the semester ending, students have to decide what to buy with their last points. Billy Hudson, retail supervisor at Alvin's Market, spoke on what students buy the most towards the end of the semester.
We carry probably about 300 plus items. Towards the end of the semester, we start to sell a lot of the high dollar items such as the salt lamps and the diffusers, and they kind of just buy random things to go ahead and get rid of their points and buy for other students also.
OCU students have opinions on what they would spend with their last few points.
For my last few points from Alvin's, I would spend them on salt lamps. Yeah, down there. That's what I would spend them on.
Alright, with my last points at Alvin's, I would spend it on just lunch and or coffee for the rest of my time here.
For my last few points, I'm probably going to buy some iced coffees and maybe some energy drinks to get through the finals rounds.
The school year ends May 7th, so students should get to Alvin's before it's too late. Reporting for Press Play, I'm PJ Grooms.
Coming up, we have a look at the SAC End of the Year Bash.
And a memorial for a professor that touched the hearts of many students. This much and more after the break.
Oklahoma isn't your room. So don't trash it.
Welcome back to Press Play. The Student Activities Council will be hosting this year's End of School Bash. The event includes food, music, and more to celebrate the end of the school year. Also, get out your retro clothing, leg warmers, and get ready to get your groove on because this year's End of School Bash has a 90s theme. It will take place Thursday, April 29th from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. It can be found between Wanda Bass and the OCU Quad. Student and faculty are required to wear masks during the bash. Just over a year ago, the OCU community suffered the loss of a professor. Now students have a place to remember him. Press Play's Hannah Campbell has more on the story.
Dr. John Starkey's spirit still lives on the OCU campus. Many students still talk and think about the religion professor regularly. Allie McMurray and Addison Saviors have a special connection to him through a United Methodist summer camp.
I was probably like 9 or 10 when I first met him.
I remember all of the people at this camp were young people, and there's this one old guy.
Dr. Starkey enjoyed the camp atmosphere and was famous for his ability to relate religion to pop culture.
He did a presentation at camp over Harry Potter and the correlation between Harry Potter and the story of Jesus Christ. And I remember thinking, wow, this guy really knows what he's talking about related to pop culture. And how cool is that he can relate to students that were decades younger than he was.
Dr. Starkey had a way of connecting to students and mentoring them through their own religion and life in general.
He would often know that I knew the answer, and he would be like, Allie in the corner knows the answer, but she's not ready to say it yet. And so that's one of my favorite memories, but that's also a way that he did strongly impact me and encourage me to use my voice and to say the answer when I know the answer.
He was always willing to talk with students, whether that be in his office or outside under the trees. Because of his love of nature, a bench and a tree will be dedicated in his honor.
I think it's a really nice way to honor him because another way that he influenced me was to look at nature more often and to see God in nature and to see spirituality in nature.
I feel like it's really fitting that we have a bench in his honor where students can just go and sit and experience nature and take a little rest, because Dr. Starkey was always so big on resting and meditation and being connected to the natural world.
I really like the bench because it talks about his interfaith work and how he brought teaching different faiths into all of the things that he taught, and I think that's one thing that made him special, and it's nice to include that in honoring him.
The interfaith ceremony will be held on Thursday, May 6th at 1 p.m. on the south side of the quad lawn. Reporting for Press Play, I'm Hannah Campbell.
Dr. Starkey will always be missed by campus community, and now his legacy can be remembered through the special bench and tree. It is not unusual for alumni to return to campus, but Dean Bloodgood brought a 70-year retrospective collection with him. Press Play's Bruce Alexander has more.
A staple of the Heartland art scene for the better part of a century, Dean Bloodgood headlines at the Nona Jean Halsey Art Gallery. Some are speculating this may be the 87-year-old's last gallery show.
Is getting older, and this very well may be his last show. So I actually sent an independent curator, Helen Opper, to work with him. Since I was teaching on campus, I didn't want to expose him to me and COVID. So I sent Helen Opper out. And
it's not just about creating something beautiful, but that has a lot to do with it. I think Dean is interested in the kind of duality of nature and the power of nature.
Painting anything from rich skyscapes and detailed still lifes to uncanny depictions of the female form and awe-inspiring nature abstracts. The versatile creator not only touches audiences with his art, but also through the classroom.
so you have to think about all of the students and artists my age. I mean, I took his classes over 20 years ago. So all of the students that he taught, who taught other people, who influenced people in Oklahoma, that kind of legacy here in Oklahoma is special, and it's something that we definitely wanted to honor.
While the art display at the Norrick Center is visually captivating and steeped in Oklahoma historical significance, many OCU students may be asking themselves, Dean who? In the wake of COVID, promotion for in-person events seemed to have fallen to the wayside, with event organizers unsure of how much to promote and students just left unsure.
I'm not sure if I'm just not paying attention or looking closer, but I feel like I never really hear anything about the art center or like collections or pieces being displayed. I feel like I'm never really encouraged to look at them.
Whatever disconnect may exist between the art gallery and the students it is designed to serve did not hinder the momentous 70-year retrospective from leaving its mark on the university's landscape. For Press Play, I'm Bruce Alexander.
Stay tuned. After the break, Press Play's Hannah Campbell sits down with Stephen Jackson, photo editor for the student publications, to talk about his creative process and more. Stick with us.
No.
Just what do you think you are doing, Dave? I really think I'm entitled to an answer to that question. I can see you are really upset about this. I know I've made some very poor decisions recently, but I can give you my complete assurance that my work will be back to normal. Dave, stop, will you? Will you stop, Dave?
My name is Eric.
Welcome back. Today, Stephen Jackson is joining us. He's the photo editor for the campus newspaper.
Today, we'll be talking about the Year in Review issue. Hi, Stephen. It's good to have you here today.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
So, what all does the photo editor do for the newspaper?
So the photo editor kind of collects imagery, graphics, pictures, and things from around the campus community. And we have photographers for the paper who kind of go to events like games and performances and anything that's happening on campus and kind of take pictures. And what I do is essentially kind of filter through those pictures and pick the ones that I think suit each story, the ones that would make good galleries on our website, mediaocu.com, and kind of just get a general feel for how the photos are going and kind of what's going in the paper and what's going online.
Very cool. And so I know that the newspaper does a year in review at the end of the semester, and what all does that entail?
So what we're planning right now is a kind of 2-page photo spread. We're thinking we're going to do 1 or 2 photos from each month of the semester, and we're going to pick photos that kind of highlight key events from that month, focusing on things like the pandemic, sports, how performing arts have adapted, things like that. And it's going to be nice to kind of get things from this semester, because last semester we had an end of semester review just for kind of the fall semester. But it's going to be great to kind of go back through the spring and see what was notable and what was newsworthy.
Right. And how do you decide which photos get to be put into the year in review?
Well, it's like I said earlier, it's kind of what I think sums up each month best. If there was something really notable that happened that month, like this month it may be the inauguration of Reed Powell as SGA president. And we have a great selection of photos from the vaccination clinics of people getting their vaccines. And so it's kind of just what I think kind of suits, I guess, each month properly. And they have to be, exposed properly, framed properly, things like that. There is an art to taking photographs that needs to be kind of remembered when my photographers are out there.
Mm-hmm. And when can we expect to see the year in review?
So it's going to come out April 28th, a Wednesday. It's going to be kind of in news kiosks around campus, a Walker Center, the CAF, Alvin's, anywhere that you can find a copy of the campus newspaper.
Very cool. Well, we'll have to look forward to that. And thank you so much for joining us today. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the break.
Emily Wallenberg here with your campus weather update. There's a flood of news coming out of student publications. Reporters are out and about across campus covering all the latest stories. Stars soccer team is creating some high winds breezing past the competition. There's a 100% chance of stars shining bright. Students are rehearsing on stage for the big production. There's a severe wind gust warning at Abe Lemons Arena. Stars are blowing away the competition. To find out more about OCU, schedule a campus visit today. Welcome back to Press Play. I'm Katie Connor, here to give you your update on OCU athletics. As we previously mentioned, the Oklahoma City University Palm team was crowned the Athletic Team of the Year in the Campus Leadership Awards after finishing second in nationals. Palm team member Fabius Baskin says this comes as a great honor as these athletes trained all year and gave it their best despite many obstacles.
We really do try to do everything to the best of our ability. I know that sounds super cliche, but Tasha Hennick's our coach. She really wants us all to do everything we can and do it to the best of our ability and represent the school as best we can. So anytime there's an opportunity for someone to be a volunteer in either like the clinics or just an event for service hours on campus, she's always encouraging us to go out and do that and make sure that we're representing both Palm and OCU well.
With COVID changing the lives of students and faculty on campus, the athletic department has struggled to allow sports to even have a season. Teams are moving seasons and practices are under tight requirements to even have a chance of playing. While some teams have struggled to adapt, others have overcome the challenge and excelled in their field, showing that OCU can still push through during the pandemic.
It was really difficult, tough for us, tough for our students. I think when you consider that we had both semesters where there was no break. When we made it to the spring, we sort of had this praise the Lord moment when we finally were turned loose. And really the point became, we got to try. And it may blow up, and if it does, we'll react to that.
OCU is asking their alumni and supporters to pull out those checkbooks by once again holding the annual Day of Champions, which helps support the athletic department. Due to COVID, this event was canceled for 2020. Our own Sean Coleman sat down with the athletic director for development to discuss the importance of this fundraising event.
Every bit of money that is raised from the Day of the Champion goes right into teams' accounts. Every sport is affected by the money that goes into the account. The coaches can use it for things like travel, meals, apparel, anything that is needed to help the team move forward.
The Day of Champions is a giving event that we have created this year for OCU Athletics. The last year's been so strange and with so many setbacks. One of the biggest things that's happened is we haven't had an opportunity to have the fundraiser that we normally do. Each spring, OCU Athletics hosts something called the Sports Spectacular, and that's been wiped out the last 2 years. So in its place, we're doing the Day of Champions, which celebrates OCU's rich heritage of athletic success and inviting alumni and donors to give back and help our athletic teams with the budget needs they have through the year.
Reporting for Press Play, I'm Sean Coleman.
The Mass Communications Department is taking a hit at the end of the school year. After 14 years of teaching, Andy Gibson is leaving the department. I sat down with Andy to figure out why and see what last advice he has for his students.
I need a recharge. The last few years have been pretty crazy for everyone, and I
because now I think I'm over the dead.
Love it here. My energy levels were zapped. COVID could be part of it as far as me working more sporting events. Also, the COVID part, from teaching, the different things that we've had to try to come up with and go through along with the students is probably had a huge part in it.
While it seems COVID has drained Andy like the rest of the world, his students were not ready for this surprising announcement. Students were saddened to hear this influential teacher would be leaving.
That hurt. That felt bad to feel like I bailed out on students. But I also know how resilient they are. And I've seen turnover in this program, and I've seen students think that it was going to be the end of the world, and when their favorite professor left, and it turned out all right. So I know they'll be fine. But several of them let me know that I'd be missed, and that felt good.
Andy believes his students to be resilient and will continue to move forward, but he hopes students embrace change, which will be a constant in their lives.
I would give them the same advice that I would give any of my students for the past 14 years when they're leaving here things are going to change. Like me leaving, that's a change. When they leave here and go look for a real job, that's going to be a change. It's just kind of about, rebounding or adapting, I think. Don't be afraid to adapt with the change. Don't make a knee-jerk reaction to things.
Andy knows he had to make this difficult decision for his own mental health, but knows very well what he will be missing the most as he starts this next chapter in his life.
The students, for sure. So fun working with the students. Like, I feel like they keep me young, or they kept me young. There are so many different personalities and styles and just makeups to the students, and it's fun to try to figure them out and to get to know them and hopefully build relationships and advising students and just trying to help them get to where they're going. I'll miss it immensely. That was definitely the best part.
While Andy will be missed by many of his students, they are grateful for the mentorship they have received while here at OCU and wish him the best of the luck in the future.
Levitating by Dua Lipa and DaBaby has risen to extreme popularity in 2021. What do you all think?
Absolutely.
Never even heard of it.
Well, let's see what students at Oklahoma City University think. Like the song Levitating by Dua Lipa.
I do. I think it's fun. We love the song Levitating by Dua Lipa.
I do like the song Levitating. I think it's fun. It has a good dance beat. I enjoy it.
I love the song Levitating. It's just a fun bop, and it just makes you want to dance. And what's wrong with that?
Stop! No, that's literally my anthem. I had a Dua Lipa birthday party a couple of weeks ago, and Levitating was played on repeat approximately 42 times.
And we listen to it on the daily while we're getting ready.
No, I listen to it every morning. It's my wake-up call, every morning. So the answer is no, I don't like the song Levitating. I'm obsessed with the song Levitating, so...
If you want to run away with me in the galaxy and I can take you for a ride.
Well, I'm glad Austin sang that song because I had no idea. I'm getting too old.
I think it is a great song.
I'll sing it for you right now.
It's such a bop.
I've got one radio station. That's it. Stuck. I'm old.
Well, that's a wrap on our last episode of OCU Press Play.
Thank you for joining us this semester, and as always, go Stars.